Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. We got our NBA Finals edition, starting with Game 1 here in the Wednesday Thrust. My name is Jonathan. Such a pleasure to come to you live today. This is a very, very special edition right here. The NBA Finals is a great matchup between the Spurs and the Knicks. If you do not remember from December, if you do not know, the last 3 seasons we have had what we call the NBA Cup. The NBA Cup was originally called the in-season tournament, and essentially it is an in-season, just what it sounds like, an in-season tournament where you get 3 group games and then into a knockout stage. And the Spurs and the Knicks played in the championship of that as well. Now, this was a single game championship to which the Knicks won, but it's amazing to have this matchup yet again here in the final. I cannot wait for it. Before we get to that, we're just going to briefly touch on Game 7. Looking at our picks, going 2 for 3, almost 3 for 3. I mean, Wemby, if he just could have had one more slam dunk, one more free throw, one more rebound, however, could have gotten up to 30, but very close, almost 3 for 3 here. We look at the box score, how San Antonio made their way to the final after being down 3-2. It was absolutely incredible. San Antonio with a resounding win in Oklahoma City, 111-103. They took control early. Oklahoma City kept it close most of the time, but San Antonio was able to make some of the really big plays down the stretch. Now, you can look at Oklahoma City's box score right there. Obviously, SGA got to the line a lot. He went 12 for 21 from the field, so very good game for SGA offensively, but obviously wasn't good enough in other aspects, but he did get 9 assists. Now, what's particularly staggering about this matchup here was just how few players really took the shots for the team. So you look at it right here. Oklahoma City took 83 shots, and 35 of those 83 shots, so we're talking about 40%, just under 40%, was just between SGA and Alex Caruso. Now, Casey Wallace took 10, Jared McCain took 12, he was 2 for 7 from 3, not so great, but you can see that other guys, Isaiah Hartenstein, 3 for 7, he did all right. Chet Holmgren, only 1 for 2. They just did not have the kind of depth and balance offensively that has made them the great team that they were, who won the championship last year. And that's one of the things I look at is, as much as you want to see what's going on with different players and different arrangements, I think Oklahoma City just shied away from what was true to them and what helped them win the title last year and helped them win the 64 games this year. And you look at the San Antonio Spurs, much more balanced. You can see every starter on San Antonio shot more than 10 shots. Stephon Castle, 7 for 15. De'Aaron Fox, 6 for 12. De'Aaron Fox was not shooting very well in the series, and neither was Julian Champagnie. Champagnie went 6 for 10 from 3, 6 for 11 overall from the field. Victor Wembanyama, 7 for 15, not too bad. And Devin Vassell was the only one really on the Spurs among those first 7 guys who did not really shoot well at 4 for 14. He was kind of a little bit off on his 33 minutes. But you can see here, the Spurs still got some good shots from Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson. They were a 7-man team. I mean, they ideally in this series against the Knicks, they get a little bit more from Luke Kornet. They can use the experience of Harrison Barnes, and he's been a very valuable leader for the San Antonio Spurs. But you can see just much more balance, and that's something that if they can play with this kind of balance here in the NBA Finals, they are bound to win the Finals. I do not question what this team can do when everybody contributes, and that is what we saw here in the Game 7. Now, Champagnie was part of our paid picks. He got 6 rebounds, 1 assist for 7. So Champagnie does give us this paid pick right here. Got me some money. I really like that. He also had overall a great game. He contributes on all ends, but I did lose the bet on Isaiah Hartenstein. Had Isaiah Hartenstein on a double-double. Just wasn't a big contributor offensively and got relatively dominated in the paint. Something that I can say is relatively uncharacteristic of Isaiah Hartenstein, but really I just feel that, he overall isn't the most consistent player. Now, I really thought he would step up more in the Game 7. I thought that he could have, with better play, more aggression from him, they could have gone over the top. He did have an M1. He had a couple of his moments in that game, but overall, not a great one from him. But now we get to game one, and we haven't talked about the Knicks in 9 days. They've had such a long rest, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Will the Knicks be very fresh? Will they have a lot of physical pop? Or will they be a step behind and stale because they have not played for 9 days? We'll see how that's going to go, but this slip right here on Betr will get you 2.2 times your money. More than double your money on this one. We got OG Anunoby. He has been a key player for the New York Knicks. He's a small forward. He does it all. He's bound to go make 2 or more threes on the game. Then we got Dylan Harper right off the bench. He's a rookie, but he's been a very solid contributor for San Antonio. Bound to go over 7.5 field goal attempts. We break it down right here, starting with Mr. Anunoby, the British guy, going over 1.5 3-pointers made for the New York Knicks. Anunoby has done that in 8 out of 10 and 17 out of 20. So a lot of green on these charts, these foundational charts right here. Anunoby's also done that in 4 or 5 games. That's 80% against San Antonio. That middle bar right there with the 5, that was the NBA Cup final, which they played against the Spurs. Anunoby made 5 threes in that game. Now the other 2 games on that chart, the right 2, those were the originally scheduled regular season games between the 2 teams. But yes, because of the NBA Cup final, they played each other 3 times. So if you do not know, Eastern and Western Conference teams each play each other 2 times per season, 1 game in each arena. So you can see the previous 2 bars right there is the games from the previous season. But you can look at his overall season, a 69% hit rate, very, very consistent on hitting 2 or more 3-pointers for OG Anunoby, very solid shooter, but he's also a better performer on the road. You can see throughout the board here, minutes, points, assists, rebounds, he has higher numbers on the road than at home. He does well when the lights are on the road. It's going to be loud in San Antonio. Got very passionate basketball fans right there. Keep in mind, much unlike New York, for San Antonio, they are the only professional sports team in the city, the San Antonio Spurs. So you can imagine they are very passionate about the San Antonio Spurs in that area. It's also a very growing city, a very spacious metro area. Well, a spacious city more than a metro area, but enough of that. Let's get to the San Antonio Spurs and let's get to Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper has been a very solid contributor for San Antonio, and he is bound to go over 7.5 field goal attempts. A lot of green on this chart too. He's done that in 7 out of 10. He's also done it in 13 out of 20. Head to head, he against the New York Knicks in the NBA Cup final, he shot 14 shots. So you can see in a championship game, he can shoot. But you also saw in the next 2 regular season games, he came close but no cigar. 6 and 7 right there. But this is the championship. You saw in the Oklahoma City Thunder series just how much he has contributed and been a part of the offense. You can see his stats on the series on the right-hand side of this one. Very strong averages, 12 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3 assists. A lot of that came off the bench. I believe he started game 6, if I remember correctly. Or he definitely started when De'Aaron Fox, I think game 1 when he was hurt, Dylan Harper was in the starting lineup. But no matter what, for a role player, for someone who comes off the bench, who's a rookie on a team of very talented players, he is performing very, very well. He's making plays in all aspects of the game, and we expect that he will get some good shots in this series, especially when guys like Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges are not in the game. And Dylan Harper will definitely be making some good plays when the benchers are in. You can also see throughout the season, looking at that left-hand chart, 70% hit rate here on 7.5 field goal attempts. He's consistently getting himself in good positions, making high percentage shots. He also feeds off the talent of his teammates. He'll usually play when there's a couple starters in there, including Wemby. So, the way Mitch Johnson has done his rotations with 7-8 guys, he will always, when times like the second quarter especially, maybe for a chunk of time in the third, he'll have 2 or 3 starters and 2 or 3 bench guys, and that's usually when you're going to see Dylan Harper get some real quality minutes, and that's what we expect to see here. We got 2 more paid picks on Winnable. That does include Karl Anthony Towns, and I won't give you the hint of the last one. You would have to check it out on Winnable. That link is below. That's our Stan Store link where you can find the link to all of our socials, including how to sign up for Betr and get your 2 swipe free tokens with the code ROCKETUPSB. That being said, that is a wrap for the analysis on this one. We will have a video and 2 or 3 free picks for every finals game, all broken down right here. Let's get after it. Let's enjoy this game 1 in San Antonio. I cannot wait to see this matchup. A lot of intriguing storylines. Launch with purpose.